Well, practice wrapped up for the day, and we get a chance to speak to a man who's become a big part of this Seahawks defense, who I'd imagine is even more excited about a new regime, new system. It's all new. Everybody's unwrapping a new present out there. Julian Love is with us. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
It's good to talk to you. Give us your impressions of the defense up to this point. Is it night and day difference? Is it just subtle differences?
Schematically, I would say it's night and day. But, to the average observer, I guess you could say it's the same people. Just getting after it. Mike, I think, is putting his own style on how we want to operate.
It's funny, last year that was like the most common answer when you asked what was going on with the defense, lack of communication. Guys sure seems different. I mean, you got guys like on the sidelines that aren't even in the game that are putting
chirping
signals and things like that. Is that how it's been pretty much?
Yeah, both sides of the ball, just over communication, trying to get in tune with just being quick, we want to have a lot of tools. We want to be playing fast, and so right now we're working through that over communication. Coach Mike calls it obnoxious communication, and so we're just trying to do that right now.
So what was your did you have a homework assignment, so to speak, in the offseason? Was there anything you felt like I gotta work on my speed, I got to get stronger, I got to lose weight, gain weight, whatever? Anything you did in the offseason?
Yeah, I feel like initially, so weight-wise, I'm pretty consistent. I've been the same weight most of my time in the league. Just naturally, I eat pretty clean. And then, I think it's just getting my body back. That's always that first month or two, just trying to get those things, powering through a season, not missing a game. For a while, you just try to get the body right, and then just train, just get stronger. I think it's a time when you can lift heavy, get those the muscles firing a little bit. Then speed work, nothing crazy though. I think at this point it's just maintaining my strength, which thankfully I have some good pop to me, and then just staying healthy, making sure my joints, my knees, ankles, all that stuff is just fluid. That's kind of my mindset all off season. Just be fluid, be able to move, and get ready for the season.
You said eat clean. I wouldn't know what that is, but do you have? I mean, that was just something we didn't really like. We didn't have food when we were practicing in Kirkland and everything.
They didn't eat food. They just ate plants.
You had to bring your own stuff.
Red Robin or something coming in.
And I was a bachelor, so I was like making like macaroni and cheese.
See, now it's dangerous because you have all the delivery food services or whatever, and so you can really get whatever whenever. I would say I eat, my wife is great. She cooks. I cook a little bit. So we eat, home cooked stuff 80% of the time. But from Chicago, I like pizza.
Sure. Every once in a while you gotta splurge.
And so that's pretty much an 80-20 rule. Try to operate. And just naturally, I think my parents just had me eating clean growing up. And so a little bit that just has carried over.
Now, did you get away during the off season? Do you take like, all right, I'm going 2 weeks, I'm not lifting any weights, we're going on vacation, then I'll get to it, or how do you treat the off season?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So I think because of everything with the baby going on at home, we kind of just got back to Chicago, and we were posted up. I was training there. We had a few weddings, of course. Right, we're at that age now where
everyone's
getting married. We were the first out of all of our groups, and so now me and my wife are just in a bunch of weddings. And so we had 2 this year. We have already 4 lined up for next year. And so other than, that was the only travel we had is just those weddings.
Sounds like Lefko.
I know.
Our producer he's been to like 15 weddings over the last 2.5 years.
Every cousin he has
is in the marrying age.
Yeah, we were that first cousin 2 years ago. First cousin, first friend to get married, and now we're just unfortunately have to play catch up.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So tell us about, last year, kind of frustrating. I mean, I was frustrated for you because I thought in the beginning you weren't playing as much. And then miraculously, you play Julian more and he makes plays. And, I mean, you could see the correlation there. So, but you were pretty quiet about it and, kind of made your way through that. But a little frustrating. I was frustrated for you, but how did you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a competitor, so you want to be out there. I believe in my game, and honestly, I just came to the realization over the years that I just kind of have a game that grows on you. Like, I wouldn't say the flashiest person in the world. I think, and sometimes you feel like flash in the pans are, rewarded or noticed more, and so my game's always just been pretty consistent. I'm going to get my tackles a game. I'm going to be efficient. I'm going to be productive. And that's kind of my mindset. And, literally 3 years ago, I was the fourth safety on the roster, just trying to figure out, okay, what can I bring that's different to the table? And I found that it was consistency. It was just being that same person in the meeting room, being that same teammate I could be to my guys no matter what's happening. And then when I get my shot, just try to seize the moment. And so it felt super, super natural this past year to, how everything was ebbing and flowing. Just be like, okay, whatever, play my game. Some games I was frustrated for sure, but I didn't want my teammates to know that. I didn't want my coaches to see that. And, yeah, I think that's just it's a mindset thing.
Well, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. You had a lot of guys in front of you in New York, too, with the Giants. I mean, you had some good players there. So
for 2 years over the Giants, my second and third year, our safety room alone was Logan Ryan, Xavier McKinney, Jabril Peppers, and myself.
Right.
And so I found myself in just out of circumstance, just being kind of that fourth guy. But I still managed to produce. I stayed available. I played in every game, special teams, all that stuff. And I think coaches, they knew when, stuff hits the fan, they can rely on me. And I think that was just all learning early in my career.
Well, it paid off for you because you just signed a new 3-year, up to $36 million deal, which is really cool. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
But is that a sense, obviously the money's nice, but is it a sense of satisfaction like, hey, that perseverance, that attitude, it paid off?
Yeah, 100%. And, you're in it so long, you're fighting the fight, you're doing the thing, and, you're wondering in the back of your mind, my wife and I are like, will I ever get, what other people are getting by how I approach it? And I think, just maintaining who I was, I think, with everything, I think that's the hardest thing to do. When things aren't going your way sometimes, you're trying to get yours. I'm going to year 6 trying to get mine. Do I switch up? Do I approach this thing differently? How do I attack trying to get a deal, trying to secure my family long term? And thankfully, Mr. Snyder and crew and Coach Mike and all the people who came in, I think saw my game, and I think my reputation preceded itself. And so I didn't have to start from zero with these guys. I think they can see my game on tape. They, have been across somebody or cross paths with somebody who knew me. And I think all that being a good person, being myself, rewarded itself. I just wasn't seeing it. And so it's so validating. And, obviously I'm extremely happy.
We had a coach that would call it a SIFCO rating. Can I effing count on him? And
I like that.
You've a high SIFCO rating.
I would say I have a high SIFCO rating.
Because that's interesting, though. I mean, I think that was frustrating sitting behind those guys, Jabril Peppers, and to have the wherewithal to think, okay, I'm going to be consistent, because that's what coaches want, right? I always talk about, like, why are they, people will say, why are they playing this guy? I guarantee you 90% of it is because the coach who, is dependent on you having success.
Yeah.
He knows he can count on you.
Exactly right. Yeah, and that's, it's a mindset. When things were hard in my past, last year, whatever, I always tell myself, it might make no sense, but I always say that a lesser man would fold. I think I have high character, all that stuff, and things get hard at times, but I'm not going to fold. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to get here on time. I'm going to do all my work, do what I have to do. I think so many guys, I try to tell young guys all the time, listen, you got to keep going. Like, it's either you're out of the league or you're in the league. And I wanted to stay. I know I have staying power, and that's just by being myself. And so I appreciate that.
So does this feel like home now? I know last year was your first year, and as you just talked about, it took a while to get into the flow of things, but now new deal, new staff, there's a commitment to you. So does it feel like, okay, I can relax, this is home, this is where I'm going to be?
For sure. Last year, with my wife being pregnant, it seemed like we were holed up pretty much where we were staying. I was playing football, enjoying it, trying to just be present. And then when I was home, I was just being present with her. Yeah. And so it's like I wasn't getting the chance to be out in Seattle too much, I felt like. And season went by super fast. So this year, I'm excited. We're going to try to get out. We're going to try to hit the restaurants. So if anybody's listening, has restaurant recommendations, all that stuff, shoot them my way. We're big foodies.
What kind of food?
We like it all. We don't discriminate against food. We like it all.
Seafood, Italian, Mexican, you like it all.
Now, since I am Mexican, I do love my Mexican food. I'm Cuban as well. but we love Asian food. Italian. We're from Chicago. I was in New York for a little bit, so Italian. We're pretty high on Italian.
You got a high standard.
So don't everybody's listening. Don't send me garbage. Don't send me
Olive Garden
stuff. You know,
No, we're not doing
Olive Garden is
Garden.
like the Chipotle of Italian food.
It's guilty
I still
pleasure.
like it, but I wouldn't call it obviously authentic. But I still like it. I don't know. That's one of those things, like Taco Bell.
Yeah.
By the way, when you text those in, you're also going to need they're going to need some babysitters too, right?
Yeah.
Julian,
We've started our search.
Do you have family or anybody around that can help out with that?
We have great family. Not many are out here, but my parents pretty much go to every game. Her family's great, and so. Especially now with the only grandkid in the family.
Oh yeah,
we'll be getting visitors for sure.
So, boy or girl?
It's a boy.
When was he born?
December 22nd, 23rd.
And that's your only child right now?
Yeah.
How's it been? You get hard getting sleep? Is it?
So my wife's holding it down for sure. She's holding it down right now in camp. Obviously, I'm just grinding away, trying to shape this thing the way we want it on the field, and so. Yeah, she's holding it down, and I mean, sleep. You get adjusted.
Yeah, you'll get it somewhere.
Yeah. We'll down the line, we'll catch back up.
You got to shout out the wife though, because this happened to me. I got married, and then I signed in Denver, and then my wife got pregnant somehow, and we moved there, and she was like all on her own, and had to, now you guys probably had help and things like that, but. And so did we. But, I mean, it's tough going to a new city,
I think that's – that's one of those things playing in the NFL. It's just kind of just a forgotten, tough thing to deal with. Yeah. Just traveling. We found out we were pregnant a day before we moved to Seattle. And so it was just
a lot.
chaotic, obviously, trying to and there's a lot of uncertainty. You don't know what the area you're going to be in. You're trying to find a spot. Just – having infrastructure of some sort, it can be a lot. And so thankfully we found that. Everybody was so good around here. The staff in the building was so accommodating, is so accommodating for us. And so we feel more settled in. But, last year early on, I think it kind of freed me up to be like, okay, I got to take care of what's going on at home when I'm home. And then when I'm at football, I'm in football. I'm locked in, doing my thing. But kind of having that, split mindset where – my foot's not in one door and out the other or whatever. Right. I'm locked into whatever I was doing at the time. And so it kind of helped. Freed me up a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, what is it like? You played for Pete, who's we all know that personality. He's the youngest 72-year-old I've ever seen in my life, and that energy and just effusive positivity. And then Mike Macdonald, first-time head coach. He's younger than some players in the league. So, and he's got a different demeanor. Does it feel like a big transition just in terms of the vibe or personality, if you will? I
would say around the building, I would say it is a transition. For me, I think because I didn't have Pete for that, I had him for a year. It feels a little more natural for sure. I've had a lot of head coaches in my 6 years, and only had 5 in 6 years, and so it's a lot. But for guys around here, for sure, you don't know anything else, and it's a tough thing. And so Pete was a certain type, and then Mike is he's so good, and I think he is very aware of who he is. And so obviously he's not Pete. He doesn't have his personality. What he brings to the table, he talks about. What he feels like he lacks, he leans on the coaches he's hired to kind of build up in that way. And so I think that's the first step. You're a first-time head coach. If you think it's going to be all you're going to do your way or the highway, all that stuff, that seldomly works. I think, we have Coach Frazier out here. He brought in Grow as an OC. Obviously AD as a D coordinator. Jay Harbaugh, teams like he brought in some guys. Yeah. He brought in some football minds because he knows he's not the smartest mind in the world, but he's going to hire people who he feels are, and it's going to collective effort. So it's been great so far.
He might be the smartest football guy in the world. We're hoping so, Mike Macdonald.
Listen, he is, sounds like, I've been around a lot, and he's as sharp as they come.
He said it's Devin Witherspoon.
Huh? He said it?
He said, Coach Macdonald made a joke. He's like, Witherspoon knows everything. Just ask him.
I won't touch that. But Spoon, is a dog. But Coach Mike, he was hired here for a reason. The guy is a guru. I think I'm excited I'm excited because he's a defensive guru. And we get to showcase that. But, he's one of those guys.
Pleasure to speak to you every time, man. We really appreciate it. Congrats on the child. Congrats on the contract. Very cool.
What's going on?
We can't wait to see you out there, man. Thanks so much as always.
It's going to be a fun year. Such a good team. You guys are great, as always, and I appreciate you.
We'll get those restaurant recommendations.
Yeah,
going
shoot them
for
my
you.
way. Let's go.
I'll hit you up on the plane.
They have to be top tier.
Top tier, though.
Top tier.
Yes.
No Olive Garden, no Taco Bell.
No, we're not talking about chain restaurants here.
Yes, exactly.
No chance.
We appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you.